What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I decided to bring an interesting topic to YouTube today, right? A question that was posed on social media that I chose to explore. That question is, why do some men feel reluctant to open up to women that they're dating? Or why are they reluctant to explain their feelings or discuss their feelings with women that they're romantically involved with, right? And I'm like, man, this is a really good topic, and I chose to explore those reasons. However, I want to start off by saying this. This video isn't meant to denigrate women. It's not meant to villainize women. Nor is my channel a woman bashing channel by any stretch of the imagination. On my channel, I speak my truths. And I speak from my own personal experiences, as well as the personal experiences of those individuals who are close to me, whether it be family, friends, co-workers, or so on and so forth, right? What I'm about to express doesn't apply to all women, because I never speak in absolutes for all of anybody or all of any group, right? Um and also this doesn't apply to all women, because how a woman responds to a man opening up and expressing his vulnerabilities is based on a few things, based on her levels of empathy, her objectivity, her critical thinking, and her knowledge of the man that she's with, right? However, I will start off by saying that one of the big reasons that many men don't feel comfortable explaining their feelings to a woman is because many of the modern women of today have made it extremely clear, abundantly clear, that there are certain weaknesses in a man that are not acceptable, right? They have made it abundantly clear that there are certain weaknesses that they view in a man that they will not accept. Two big weaknesses that I observed that a woman seems to not accept is any financial weakness or any forms of self-doubt regarding personal issues or financial issues as well, right? I say that to say that we're in the age today when women, they're expecting men to pay their bills, before to pay all of their bills. And when they don't, it's looked at as that man is not a real man. He's not a real provider, because they pawpaw used to pay all their grandmama bills. The grandmama didn't have to work at all. She didn't have to open her wallet at all one time. And I think those are unfair standards, right? And inflation has occurred. So the things that Papa and them were able to do back then, they wouldn't be able to do today, because things cost a lot more now, right? And jobs aren't willing to pay. They're not going to pay. They're paying just a little bit higher than what Papa and them used to make, right? Because essentially, even though minimum wage has increased, the cost of living has increased. So there is no common ground being met. Furthermore, there are women who are dating certain men of certain status they have it like that. A dude that's a athlete, a professional athlete, he can pay for all his bills and your bills without no problem. A dude that's cracking cards, is out here cracking cards, they can be able to pay for this, that, and the third, and live a life of luxury with no problem, and can provide that for a woman, because they're getting it illegally. Illegally, they're stealing somebody else's money, right? I just think that there's no common ground for the working man who's making, say, $55,000 to $65,000 a year. If that man is living in Chicago, Illinois, he can't pay all of his bills and your bills as well. It's just not feasible. But in today's standards, in today's society, a man who's not paying all the bills is looked at as weak. If he's having any financial hardship, is viewed as a chink in the armor of a lot of men. Not by all women, but by some women for sure. Right? We live in a day and age where women want you to pay for them and their friends whenever they go out, as means to impress their friends. As means to look like a real solid dude in front of their friends. So it's just a different time. But those weaknesses that some women view, the fact that some women view those things as weaknesses is a reason why some men don't open up about certain things, right? Also, self-doubt is often perceived as a lack of confidence, right? Or is viewed as a man not being sure of himself. And some women express that a man who has doubts in himself is not someone that they can trust to lead their family. right? A man is supposed to lead a household and lead a family. And some women look at self-doubts in a man having fears or doubts. They look at that as, oh man, he don't have the confidence to lead my family. He don't have the confidence to lead my children, which is not true at all. Doubts are a normal thing. They are a normal thing for everybody. But sometimes I feel like men are often, or we've been, especially black men in general, I can really speak for this. We have been framed to be like, and to some fault of our own, but also to how society views us. We're supposed to be warriors in every state of the word. You know what I mean? Strong physically, strong mentally, to where we can't crack, we can't crack, we can't crack. We got to keep pushing. But there are fears that men have and they experience. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable opening up because those vulnerabilities can be looked at as a chink in the armor. And some men don't want to risk being looked at as not fit to lead a household by some of the women that they date. So they just omit any conversations about their feelings or their fears or their doubts out of fear of being judged negatively, right? Um, there are times where the moment a man expresses some of his fears, I got my notes written too. There are times when the moment a man expresses some of his fears, sometimes a woman who has been groomed to believe that she comes first and that her feelings are most important, sometimes that woman will change their perception of the man that they're dating. The moment many men express any feelings of fears to a woman, the mental image that a woman has of her man takes a hit, right? Those women that I'm talking about whose mental image of their man takes a hit, those women often discard this image of strength, surety, and poise that they had in their man when he expresses fears or doubts, right? Those images of surety and strength and poise go out the window when a man starts to express doubts with some women. Not all women, but with some women, those things, the woman pushes that out the window, out of her head. And that's a problem, right? Another thing that I observed, a reason why some men don't feel comfortable opening up to their woman is when they express themselves and when they talk about how they're feeling, many women view that as excuse making. Is excuses, right? And with that kind of dismissal, men are reluctant to express themselves or any vulnerabilities to a woman again. They're not going to express that again if they every time they express themselves is looked at as excuse making. I'm sorry, stumbling over my words. But if their fears being discussed is looked at as excuse making, they're going to shell up. They're going to close themselves up and they're going to just stay reluctant to talk about anything going further. Not all men, but there are men who will do that. They're going to shy away from those conversations because they look like, man, my stuff going to be, anytime I express these fears, is going to be dismissed as excuse making. And this isn't good because it hurts both parties in a relationship, as the woman won't be able to connect with the man emotionally if he wants to stay closed off emotionally, because the moment he starts to express fears, he's looked at as his fears are dismissed as excuse making, right? He's not going to want to open up, which is going to be bad for a woman because women crave emotional connections with their men, right? But if the man is fearful that his vulnerabilities will be scoffed at or looked at in a state of disappointment, he's going to close up and he's going to be like, no, you know what? I'm not going to even have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? And then emotionally, he's not going to connect with his woman because he's going to be like, man, the moment I do, it's not being taken seriously. It's being scoffed at. So I'm just going to avoid that at all. We're not going to even have them type of conversations about how I'm feeling, about my feelings. We're not going to talk about my fears. We're not going to talk about my doubts or anything like that because I'm going to be viewed as less than in many instances, right? That's the reason why sometimes I cringe when some women say what a real man is, what a real man is, what a real man is. Because, of course, a man is a person who, there are some standards of just manhood, period, right? A man who is a responsible human being, who takes care of his responsibilities and duties to his children, to his family, for sure. A man is a person who just handles adversity and deals with adversity, even through challenges. But sometimes those challenges are very rough and they're hard. And sometimes men need to express those things. But if the woman's gonna look at it as a chink in the armor, he gonna shy away from those type of conversations in general with that woman, right? Um, Another issue that I see that some women make, some problems that I or issues that I see that some women make when a man is expressing his vulnerabilities is when a man is talking about his struggles, when he's talking about some of his doubts or fears. Some women start to discuss how things are unfair to them or how they deserve a man who will open up to them, how they deserve this type of man, how they deserve that type of man who's going to open up and be emotionally connected to them. They start talking about things that they deserve. When a man starts discussing why he doesn't open up to his woman, they start talking about what they deserve instead of hearing the man out and responding with empathy. They respond just to counterpunch his responses, right? They respond to counterpunch his responses, not listening to what he's really saying, right? And instead, they start talking about how they deserve this type of man and that type of man when a man is expressing why he doesn't open up, which in turns it's just really, really not good. When he's talking, like when a woman is saying, "Oh, I deserve this, I deserve that," it's making the conversation about her instead of about that guy. You know what I'm saying? It's about his feelings and his doubts and his insecurities about certain type of things. Some women flip that into a conversation about them and their wants and their needs, which in turn causes a man to clam up when it comes to emotion and emotional expressions, and he just completely just shuts down emotionally, shuts down. Him and his woman connect off of how he can make her happy, how he could they connect off sex, they connect off grief, like the loss of a loved one or something like that, but they don't connect off of just general natural emotions that a human being faces or deals with. They connect, you know what I mean? The woman will be comfortable expressing all of her vulnerabilities. And it's simple for her because a lot of women, of course, they've been groomed by society, by rappers, by entertainers to believe that they are the center of everything. You know what I mean? Not all women, but when I say that as a broad statement, but there are many women who have been groomed to believe that their feelings are the ones that matters the most. Their feelings are most important. How they feel is the most important thing in all across the board. And they've been taught to believe that they are just the simple prize in everything. And so with this understanding from music and so on and so forth or whatever, even sometimes, you know, from general conversations with friends or just even within themselves, some women who are like this, because they are so focused on them, there's no time for them to think about, hey, this man needs to be fed in certain type of ways emotionally for him to respond good to you. Relationships are all reciprocal. It's a reciprocal thing. Reciprocity is always needed in more ways than one. It's not just about you know, this, that, and like the woman gets all of the empathy, the compassion. The man is supposed to do this and that and the third, and then the woman is struggling. I've seen instances where the woman craves all this type of feelings emotionally. They would crave this and they crave that, but they struggle to give it to their partner. They don't even know how to give it to their partner, and that becomes a problem, right? Another reason that men struggle to open up to the women that they're dating is because you have some women who genuinely do not know how to respond or react to a man's moments of vulnerabilities. Like I said, because they've been groomed by society to believe that they are the center of everything and that their feelings are what matters the most. So they don't even know how to they don't even know how to respond to a man's feelings, or they don't even believe that a man's feelings should come first in all or any circumstance, barring death in the family, right? When it's a death in the family, I've seen women that, okay, I know that man is hurting from a loss of a family member. I can give him, I can give him certain things emotionally he needs due to a death in the family. But however, sometimes with some women, other than that, some women struggle to even feel like, they don't even know how to respond to it. Seriously, because they just been so fixated on believing that their emotions come first in everything, right? And those women who are like that, when a man is having any type of hardship in their life, do y'all know how they respond to a man having hardship or fears or doubts? A lot of them women who I'm talking about who feel like everything is just they're supposed to be put first in everything, those women respond to a man's hardship and fears by giving them a little simple little hug. Oh, babe, peck on the lips or peck on the cheek. Oh, babe, peck on a little hug, and they just go on about their day. And that's how they think that's an adequate response to a man's having doubts and so on and so forth. And that's not an adequate response at all, man. Instead of giving just a little peck on the cheek or peck on the lips and a little small, little pitter patter, little hug, what would be appreciated, what some men would appreciate would be a thoughtful response filled with substance and true empathy, and it's just a thoughtful response, man. And when men don't get those things, they shut down. They shut down emotionally. And again, you know, I'm not discrediting women at all. There are really great women out here. I'm dating a great woman. You know what I mean? Been with her for a while, been dating a great woman. There are other great women out here for sure that can express those things without question. But there are many women who cannot. Because they're so fixated on believing that everything revolves around them and they're the center of the universe because the rest of the world is telling them that. The rest of the world is just telling them everything starts and ends with them. The sun rises and sets on them. So they don't believe, oh man, I don't got to get this man nothing. He need to be giving me something, right? Again, we living in a time where a woman doesn't even take a man seriously if he don't offer to pay all of her bills before they go on a first date, which is crazy. It's crazy, man. And but yeah, those are some of my thoughts and reasonings on why some men don't feel comfortable opening up to their woman, right? And again, you know, there are some men who are not good people. They're not good people, so they're not going to get any type of emotional connection with their woman because they're just terrible people. But I'm speaking for the men who are really true, good-natured men who do the right thing, who try to do the right thing 9.5 out of 10 times. Try their best to do the right thing. They are good-natured. They're comforting people. They're genuine men. They are men who work towards goals. They are men who have goals. The men who are really all in all good men. I'm speaking for them. I'm speaking for how they feel when certain things, how they feel and why they won't open up in certain situations and circumstances, right? So those are my responses to why. I'm talking about the good men now. The good men. Why good men don't feel comfortable opening up to their woman or explaining how they feel to the woman that they dating. Those are my responses and my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Let me know y'all thoughts on this. Machiavelli Mills TV. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I'm out. Peace.